Hi, everybody. Okay, that came around quickly. I got home from work not too long ago. I knew that Shadoe Davis was at the ostrich farm and I wanted to connect with him. So here it is. It's a surprise live on what day is it? It's Monday. I don't do lives that often, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Shadoe Davis live from Edgewood. He's going to give us an update on many things, but he's going to give us the latest on what's happening at the ostrich farm. Okay, stay right there. One more little clip for you.
Like my friend Anita Krishna in Canada, she worked for a global news or a big news network. She started to ask just regular questions. She's like, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? We're a news organization. Isn't that what we do as a news organization? And she got fired for that, of course.
Crazy.
That seems to be what you don't do if you work for a mainstream news organization is don't ask any questions, just keep your mouth shut. That's for sure. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on this live stream today, this impromptu surprise live. I decided to do this because I follow Shadoe Davis, and he's a broadcaster and a podcaster, and he has a very popular show that you can catch on Rumble. He posts it on X and on YouTube and Facebook. He's everywhere with it. He jumped in his car and decided to drive down and see what was going on with the ostriches. So without further ado, he's there. He's live at the scene. I'm going to bring him in. Mr. Shadoe
Hi,
Davis.
Anita.
Hi. Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful behind you.
Right now, you're the spinning circle of death for me, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go back to me.
Unless it's us.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Maybe we can move to a...
Go down that way.
Yeah,
no, because we're still... on,
okay.
So.
Go down right beside him on the
Okay, go move to a different location. Yeah, if you... Well, go move... Oh, great. Oh, great. Okay, this is great. If you can hear me, go move to a stable location and then come back. And then I'll fill time. How about that? I'll just text him. Oh, sorry, bear with me. This never happened in a live newscast. Okay, move. I'll just say move. Oh, there, yeah, he's gone. He's moved. Okay, so while he's moving, he was stable. Sorry, there we go. He was stable. While he gets himself, well, let's see if he's come back now. Now, stand still. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, now don't move.
I'm just going to turn around a little bit this way so you can see the ostriches.
The ostriches, but don't, yeah. Ah, beautiful. Look at that. So Shadoe, tell me what inspired you to jump on down there. I mean, to jump in your car. Oh, look at this. They're frolicking behind you. This is gold. This is wonderful. They're running. So what motivated you to go down there? And as far as you can see, are these birds healthy?
Yeah, they're absolutely healthy. There's not... Katie is going to be able to answer all of the questions that you have regarding the ostriches in an expert way because she is an expert on it. But as far as I'm concerned, what I see is healthy ostriches, but there's yellow tape, Anita, that is, see right here, that CFIA has decided to put up between people and ostriches so that we can't get close to them because they're under quarantine.
Oh,
Ostriches
all
are
of them?
because
all of them?
Bird flu.
A bird flu. Okay, a couple of things in case people don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
In case people don't know, let's brief them on the story. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, despite despite many protestations, has declared that there's an avian flu outbreak and that these ostriches need to be culled. Which is how many are there? 400? No,
Almost 100. There are 399. 400, 401. There's many.
Yeah. And what made you go down there? You wanted to see for yourself?
Katie asked me. No, I'm kidding. It was, I was talking to Maggie Hope Braun about this as well, and it was last week or maybe the week before, and she said, I feel strangely drawn to the ostrich farm. And that's exactly the feeling that I had inside of me when we first started covering this back in January and kept covering it up until now. It was just a pull. I felt like, wow, this is a very important story. And there's many, many different aspects of everything that we've been covering for the past 5 years involved in what is going on at the ostrich farm. We've seen RCMP, what are they called? Community Outreach Liaison Officers visit the farm under the auspices of wellness checks a couple of times now. And I can't really see what the purpose to that is, except for them coming down to see how many people are down here, how they're going to possibly cull these ostriches. Like I said, there's nearly 400 of them. And we can't quite figure out how they can do this in a humane way. We've had so many big names worldwide talking about how this whole situation is. They're using the stamp out protocols. But again, I've got Katie here with me if you want to ask her some of the
we can move and bring in Katie, and I do have some questions that maybe we could just answer for people if she's standing by.
Right.
Oh, okay. She's literally standing by. Okay, you can come on in. And hi, Katie. It's nice to meet you. I've seen you all over social. And you were on my friend Jimmy Dore's show also. That was pretty huge, hey?
That was fantastic. The opportunities have been really great to raise awareness and educate people of what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. So can I ask these basic questions? How does the farm make money? It's really none of our business. I think what you guys do. You guys were living your lives until all this started and things got into question. But how do you generate an income from the ostriches? Or if you feel like sharing that?
Sure, it's a good question. Before quarantine, we were involved in research and antibodies. So we have a lot of research-based evidence and papers and studies that we've done to prove that we have even the ability to neutralize COVID-19. So we were setting up satellite farms across British Columbia, and we were selling some roosters and some hens to do that. So then we were going to buy some of those birds back, buy some of the young ostrich if they were hatched, and then also buy their eggs back. I think. Okay, you are there, still there.
Yeah.
We're going to buy the eggs back to go back into our company for research of antibodies and create nutraceutical products.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's how we were making money. And then prior to 2020, when we were involved in looking at the meat and looking at the oil, but everything since after COVID-19 has been based off antibody research.
Oh, gotcha. You know what? I use emu oil as a moisturizer.
Nice.
I don't know where it comes from, or I never even thought about it, but I do use it as a moisturizer, and I have a pain relief cream made from that. And so that's what you guys were doing before. It's completely your business. It's completely it's a free country. Well, it was. You can do what you want. And because online there's been, they're doing this, they're doing that. There's been support, but then you have the naysayers too. So as far as I'm concerned, you guys do what you want. And if you want to get a Japanese doctor involved and get some research going, maybe we'll find something good out. I don't think that's anything for anybody to get mad about, but somebody obviously doesn't like it because they came to your farm, the CFIA, and they started swabbing the animals. And I'm not sure if you knew this at the time, but people like myself have known this for a long time, that a PCR test, you can literally swab a can of Coke and get a positive. So I would never trust a PCR test, because if they alter the cycles, they will get the results that they want. At the time, did you think that they were doing something? Did you have any suspicion about that? The test?
No, well, obviously, yes. When they pulled out the PCR test, we were all like, ooh, the highly controversial PCR test. Do we not want to do something that's probably more gold standard sampling from a veterinary, official?
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, it got more controversial when they wouldn't test any of our healthy animals. They wouldn't test any of the ones that were symptomatic and got better. So it just got better and better. So we're just, it was quite alarming when they came with that. And then it was the next day they had, oh gosh, probably 500, 600 kilometers to drive back. And by the next day we already had positive results. So, and then the lab, let's go there. The Abbotsford lab is not an accredited lab to be able to even diagnose H5N1. It's the lab in Winnipeg. So that was highly controversial. We're like, how is this happening? And then December 31st, we were put under quarantine.
So they seem to be, in a way, your feeling is, or based by logic, they're giving you results that you're like, this is not likely an accurate result, So yeah. That.
And then to back that up, I mean, there was the landfill that was contacted. Yeah.
Yes.
By a supporter. Thank goodness. We have all these amazing people that are just paying attention and want change. And we found out in our board of directors meeting that we attended, just by the last minute, their last question, they were contacted in November. Our animals got sick in December. They were contacted in November and asked if they would or could take a large volume of animals, large mass animals.
So that's very suspicious. That's not even suspicious. That's blatant. That's like, we're contacting you in November. Can you hold all these animals? Oh, okay, great. By the way, in December, hey, these animals have got to go. And luckily, the landfill said, we will not accept this. And that was some sort of bylaw, or something was passed or something.
They passed a motion while we stood there just to come back at 1:30, and it was absolutely a blessing. So thank you to RDCK. They passed a motion saying that they want these animals retested, but they were never initially tested. Let's just say that they've never been tested, because those PCR tests don't count. But they want them tested before they'll accept them in their landfill. Fair enough. I think that's a fair request. And they just passed a unanimous vote on that. And so nowhere in the regional district of the Kootenays will take them. But I mean, that doesn't mean that there is other landfills, but I'm just hoping that set a precedence.
That's right. Very good. Now, a couple of other things that have made bigger news is RFK has spoken out, and Dr. Oz, and I know that RFK has contacted the CFIA to say, can we work this out? I mean, having his support, that was pretty big.
Absolutely humbling, and just showing that there's no definition or between borders. This is a problem that far outreaches Canada. This is a global problem. The stamping out is a massive problem, and we just have to deal with this and address it with no borders. This is something that we need to protect our agricultural sector, and we need to protect them and keep them the heroes that they deserve to be. It was a super humbling, super exciting to see that they wanted to collaborate based off. We were really being attacked by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency that this is a trading partner issue. So having our largest trading partner come back and say they want to collaborate was exciting, but then that was met with resistance once again. So,
but by the CFIA.
By the CFIA, yeah.
My gosh, even the Americans are like, what are you doing? This is absolute lunacy. And the Canadians are still like, nah, we're gonna dig in. Even they're relentless, actually relentless. Now there was also a bit of news that Dr. Oz had volunteered or had offered a property in Florida. And and some of the headlines were saying, oh, the farm refuses. Well, you know what? They're your pets. Maybe you don't want to see them go to Florida. You don't live in Florida. Is that the reason?
Oh, it was one statement made that we can't move them, we can't transport them because they're under quarantine. So if we
Oh,
about a quarantine, we're breaking the law. If that is the only way to save these animals, was moving them to Florida and work with the U.S. government because they see the potential and the Canadian government doesn't, then that would be exactly the option that we would want to take. So we've told Dr. Oz, I mean, start the paperwork. Let's see what
oh,
resistance you're met with. Let's see if it's a
oh.
possibility. So it was misinformation. All options are on the table because our whole goal here is to save these animals, which will hopefully
Man,
save
yeah,
animals.
I saw lots of headlines saying, "Oh, the farm. Oh, the big bad farm refuses." It's so awful. It's so awful. I'm really glad to hear that you're open to it. You're like, the important thing is we got to save them, however this goes.
Yeah.
And so, what's the latest now? Where are you at now? How are the authorities treating you? Do the people that come to your farm, some of the authorities feel stupid? Like, do you get the sense that they want to do this? Do they see the absurdity, or are they like, no, they got to go? Like,
They,
what's your feeling?
they do see the absurdity. They really do. It's you can't not see it. We had a bird that was shot, right? Or there was a wound, right? And
Yeah.
we have two RCMP officers that maintain the whole area of Nakasp, but then we couldn't get anybody to come down here and do an investigation. But a few days later, we ended up with 4 of them here just to check and see how many people are here and how we're doing, if our emotions were okay, and if we're and so we called them out on that and asked, how can you deploy so much energy to come here to check on us for this? But we still have an ostrich that was killed in the middle of the night, and investigation that has been thoroughly done. So they're nice, but it gives us a good opportunity to ask some hard questions. I do know at the end of the day, they're here to do a job, and they're only going to do their job. They're not going to do anything else. They're going to make sure that there's a peaceful resistance is maintained peacefully, and that the Canadian Food Inspection Agency can follow through with their job.
That's good. I hope that they don't follow orders. I mean, haven't we learned enough about that some orders are not meant to be followed because they're so ludicrous? And yes, I'm sorry, I did see this footage of an ostrich that was killed, but I didn't know what that was, if it was real or so. Did it, to your mind, what happened? A drone took it out for real, or what happened there?
We don't know. That's
Okay.
point, but it seems a little coincidental that there was a drone up in the air, a very large drone, and then which resulted by in the morning there was a bird right in the middle of the field, entry wound by its ear, down its neck,
Oh,
and an exit wound. So it kind of went side hand in hand. I don't know. It's speculation. We'll just there's
yeah.
investigation pending, but not really.
Yeah, I know yeah, exactly. What kind of investigation? But it's so amazing to see these beautiful animals behind you. This is like a staggering thing. Everybody I talk to about this, people I work with, they're like, there's an ostrich farm in BC. They have no idea. So now so many people know. And so now, what are some final words, or what message would you like to get out to people at this point in what's going on now?
This is ground zero for change for the world, and we need to harness that. We need to harness the momentum, harness the big voices that have spoke up in supporting. There's a lot of people who are still learning. I was one of them at the very beginning of this, that this is a way bigger issue than just saving our research here. But our agricultural sector is under attack by the very organizations that our taxpayer dollars pay for. We need to protect our farmers, protect our food. There's a hierarchy in which they listen to, and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency listens to the World Animal Health Organization. which is guided by the World Health Organization, which is guided by the United Nations. And we have an opportunity here to stand up and protect something just like the COVID-19 scenario, which we all don't want to go back to. And we're headed for the next pandemic that they've already been voicing. And we need to bring education and awareness to the matter. And we're doing that here. We're just taking a stand. We're getting international support, showing that borders are not, that's not what divides us. We need to all come together on this. We're getting calls from all around the world from farmers that are scared about the tyranny and the overreach of an organization like this. The stamping out policies, what's led us here. That's where we need to make the changes. And we just keep meeting amazing people along the way that I think can help us all get there, just like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And you too. You're just so beautiful inside and out. So thank you for all you're doing for this. This is an amazing thing that we have in BC, and we don't want to see these animals destroyed. And little old me, I'll come take anyone down. I don't know. I don't know.
But
yeah.
you can go to saveourostriches.com.
Okay.
Ostrichfarms.com. And you can just get a lot of the updated information. You can meet some of the birds on there. We have a little write-up, and then also
all their bios.
And their bios. Yeah, their bios.
What is this? Tinder? Okay.
They're going to be ostriches in orange jumpsuits soon.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Here's Shadoe.
It's been a pleasure. Oh, thank you. Now we go back to Shadoe. So thank you, Katie. That was wonderful. Yeah, Katie, she's a superstar.
Yeah, she's become a real pro doing all of these interviews in the past couple of months. I'll tell you, she's passionate about it, and she's one of the most genuine people I've met in quite some time. So
okay.
That you took the time to talk to her tonight, Anita. I think that's very.
I'm so happy that you set that up with the ostriches in the background. So now, Shadoe, I've got a few questions for you.
Yes.
Okay. So on the just to finish off with the ostriches, what have you seen happen? Like she was explaining that the authorities are kind of nice and they find this absurd. What's going on here? To sum up your experience at the farm, what are some of your thoughts before we move on?
Well, you know what, this place, the people here, especially this past weekend, where more and more people tend to come out on weekends because they're not working, and they've got the time to come out. They're very dedicated to this cause, and there are so many different factors in play, like I was talking about before, right? You've got the government overreach. You've got the fact that one of the United Nations goals 2030 is reducing the amount of small and medium farmers in the world, not just in Canada, but we're talking about, we've seen the farmers protesting over in the Netherlands as well, right? In France. And it's always one thing or another. Here, they're stamping out healthy herds and flocks of animals under the auspices of the fact they might be sick. In this situation here, it's H5N1, and apparently it's some kind of a new strain that Canada's never seen before. I don't know how they're able to diagnose that with 2 PCR tests, but apparently you can get a lot of information from these things.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
There's in Saskatchewan, they've got cows who have been found to have, what was it? It was, no, it wasn't tuberculosis. It was
it anthrax?
Anthrax. That's right. Thanks, Jim. Jim Kerr.
Please.
Yeah. And so you're like, what? Anthrax? And so, of course, they're going to be culling that herd as well. And they can do this at their pleasure, wherever they want to do it. The reason that this particular situation is gaining so much traction is because ostriches are a rare bird in Canada. You don't see ostrich farms everywhere. And so, because of the fact that it's the ostriches, people are stepping up and they're going, wow. And the other thing is, like you and Katie discussed before, there is some form of antibody that these ostriches produce that can actually naturally stop infection of, who knows? COVID-19 for one thing, but other things may be discovered going down the road. I believe that Big Pharma is behind this. They control CFIA. There has been a lot of research going on, I can tell you, about money from CFIA and money that goes into CFIA in terms of where it comes from. And it's all very interesting. I'm not going to go into any details about it right now because that would be a giveaway, but I can tell you that it's fascinating when you start seeing exactly who some of the key players are and why they're so anxious to get rid of this particular farm and why they're doing it. And then, of course, the thing is, I mean, these ostriches, many of them are older, in their mid 30s. Katie grew up with these ostriches, many of them, right? They're a majestic creature. And when you see them up close and in person, it's amazing. You can get lost in their eyes. And they're all very curious. They want to know about you as well when you walk up to them too, you know, and they'll follow you. And it's incredible.
They're like if you had a flock of kittens and one kitten had some sort of cat flu, would you be like, oh, I'll kill the whole flock? You mean, kill the whole litter? Nobody would do that. If you live in a big family and granny gets the flu, would you be like, oh, well, that's they got off everybody in the family? It is the most ludicrous thing I have ever heard in my life, this culling of animals. I don't even think I'll probably get kicked off YouTube, but mad cow, please. Come on. Way back then, I think we've been strung along with these hoaxes, scaring everybody with things that are obviously, you think anthrax is natural? You think any of these things are natural? I'm really bad at censoring myself, and this is exclusively on YouTube, I think, right now. But you all know what I'm getting at. And with signing the WHO pandemic treaty, they can declare anything a pandemic. They can say, 2 trees are going to fall down on the road. So we've got a tree pandemic. Anything can be declared. And so Canada cannot operate with its own sovereignty and make their own rules. So that is what Canada has become.
Yep.
That this is where we are. We can't even say it's down the road. We're here now. Yep. This is it now. And so everybody watching this stream, you know it, you tell people this is what's going on, and hopefully some will clue in and listen and some won't. Now before we move on to just some politics talk, you said you had someone standing by. Is there a guy there, a YouTuber?
He's here, right here. There he is.
Oh, hi there. So who are you again?
I'm Jim Kerr. I drive a bubble bus, and I've been hanging out here at the farm for almost 50 days now. I've been doing a live every day here, and I got this story from the inside out, and it's a fascinating deal.
Okay, in a nutshell, give me a paragraph. What are your thoughts about how is this going to end?
Oh, wow. It's going to end when the good thing about what's happening here is it started out for the ostriches, and now it's a bigger thing. The idea that farms can be eliminated, that entire flocks can be eliminated just at the whim of a big government body doesn't sit very well. And the fact is, there's a lot of other farmers that have already undergone this process, and it's discouraging to them. It's disheartening to them. And as a result, we're going to have less and less farmers, which means we have less and less food. I don't want to eat my food from a test tube. If I can have anything, I want farmers to be able to operate their businesses without interference. And this interference is foreign interference. Make no mistake, the CFIA, although it's a government agent, a Canadian government agency, they don't report to anybody in Canada. They report to a board at WOA that has one Canadian on it. And that scares me. I think small farmers should be allowed to do what they do because it's great for us. It's great for them. And if we don't stop it now, it's a slippery slope, just like you said. I mean, a flock of kittens, they all go down. How about grandma? Our whole family goes down. I mean, it sounds weird, but that's where it could go. So
they're being absolutely like lunatics, but they're saying the most lunatic things, and they're expecting us to just swallow it. No, we're not.
I think people do because it's a bit of a complex subject and they don't generally get all of the information. But thank you to people like yourself. You're actually getting into the nitty-gritty to explain to people not only what the policy is, but what the ramifications are. We have to look at the slippery slope on this, folks. And if we, now's the time to stop it. If we can't save 400 oversized chickens, we're going to have a hard time saving all of our kids.
That's so Hell yeah, we're there. We are there already. And they call the chickens. Oh, we lose food, we lose eggs, and then people complain. It's such a lunatic thing to do. And if people can't see that this is all by design, I know that sounds totally conspiratorial, but it's not a conspiracy, right? So good for you. And well, good. So where can people find your streams?
It's Jim Kerr on Facebook. You can also check out Church of Bubbles and the Bubble Bus. You'll find me, Papa Bubble. It's all so bubbly.
Well, you are very bubbly. You got good energy. So thank you so much.
People with good energy. What do you want?
We're all good energy people. Okay, thank you so much, Jim.
Thank
now
you.
back. Well, he was fun. Anyway, yeah.
Great guy, and he's been here for 45 days or more, and dedicated to making sure that he gets the information out once he gets it himself. And he's got quite a following on Facebook as well, 50,000 people. So that really helps a lot. And he does a great information piece.
Great. Yeah, it looks like it every day. That's awesome. Okay, now let's go to some politics thing. My gosh, if I was interviewing somebody. Yeah.
Anita, hang on for a second.
Okay. What's happening?
They're having.
Let me go full frame. Oh, rats! You went to black. Kiss of death. What was going on there? Okay, you know what? I'm going to play this clip. Aw, that's too bad. That's what happens when you go live. Oh, it went to black. Was something going on there? Well, what did you guys catch? What was happening? I didn't quite see. Let me go back down to the comments. In the meantime, I'm gonna play this clip here. Now, just because I have to talk a little bit of politics. Let me see if he didn't come back. Okay, let me show you this. Now, very rarely do I ever say, he's back. Hi, you came back.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. What happened there? It was an ostrich and a what? What's going on there?
There's male and female ostrich getting set to do the dirty.
Oh, this was now it's like OnlyFans for ostriches here.
OnlyFans for ostriches, yes.
Listen, they're happy, they're breeding.
It's mating season.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's summertime. Okay, so Mr. Shadoe.
Yes.
Very rarely do I ever say, and I got to swing to politics for just a little bit, that I never, how a lot of YouTubers go, she went scorched earth or she destroyed so-and-so. I never usually say that, but today, Danielle Smith actually destroyed a reporter when she was asked the most stupid question. So I want to just play this to you. The question was, if you can't hear it very well, you want to separate the country over a little piddly oil and gas thing. That's pretty much what she was saying. Let's play this clip. It's 1 minute long.
Why tie the issue of getting a commitment for an oil pipeline to national unity?
Well, you have to understand just how damaged Alberta is by the fact that we didn't get pipelines built. If we had built Northern Gateway, if we'd built Keystone and we'd built Energy East, we'd have 2.5 million barrels more per day of production, which is $55 billion a year worth of GDP value, which is worth $17 billion to my government alone and about an equal amount to the federal government. So this is not just an ideological argument. It's not just a minor disagreement. Oil is by far the most valuable export for Canada. Any of the projects that you will see on the ultimate list, I will tell you that a bitumen pipeline will be by far the greatest benefit to all of Canada. That's why we're going to continue to push for it, because it's a good project. It's good for our country. There's $9 trillion worth of value in discoverable and achievable reserves right now. And so why would you leave that in the ground? No other country in the world would, and we shouldn't either.
Love that. Okay.
Whoa.
Right?
Yep.
Heavy. Why would you leave that in the ground? I mean,
Climate.
When climate change, right? When we watch Larry Brock, when we watch the first question period, when we watch all the liberals get hammered, and when you see things like this, I mean, they are holding their liberals' feet to the fire. And my God, but will anything happen? They just seem to do whatever the hell they want to do. But what did you make of that statement there? She's saying, get it out of the ground.
Well, during the election campaign, Mark Carney was talking about building an energy corridor, west-east energy corridor. But what would that entail? To me, that entails a pipeline, right? A pipeline for natural gas, a pipeline for oil, bitumen, as Premier Smith was saying. And yet, whenever these liberals get grilled about it in question period in the House of Commons, what happens? They get asked to repeal the No More Pipelines bill, 69, C69, and they waffle on it. They do not say, you know what, that's got to go. And the same with the No More Tankers bill. I believe that's bill C48. And I shouldn't be calling them bills because they are laws right now. They're Canadian law.
Mhm.
And we have to abide by Canadian law lest we get arrested, charged, fined. And we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars here. So this is driving away investment in our country,
Mhm.
large energy companies. And that, in return, or down the line, it affects people who work in the oil patch, and people who drive truck, delivering,
Yeah.
railway, all of it. We should
It-
be probably one of the top 3 richest nations in the world based upon the energy and the rare earth minerals that we have in the ground. And yet these liberals refuse to allow companies to come in and do that work. And
And she's calling it out. She's saying this is insane.
well, when, she ties it to national unity, but ultimately, the people who work in that industry in Alberta, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them who rely on that kind of work to make ends meet. And, if the government, the federal government, is not going to allow Alberta to do this, why would Alberta want to stay in the country? So that's how it's tied to national unity, right?
Yeah.
And there is a very good case being made by all of the different organizations, including the Alberta Prosperity Project in Alberta, to,
Mhm.
move away from Confederation. Danielle Smith has not said that she wants that to happen. She says something like, we want an independent Alberta in a unified Canada, whatever
Mhm.
that means. I think it's the same thing as Quebec. We're an independent sovereign nation inside of a unified Canada. What
Right.
does exactly? Does that mean you're part of the country, or does that mean you're not?
It means you're part of the country, but you want to govern, you want to set your rules, which I'm fine with because the liberal federal rules are not working. So I'm
Well,
fine with that.
they don't work for any province unless they're a have-not province. Manitoba's a have-not province. Ontario's a have-not province. But the biggest have-not province of them all is Quebec. How much do they get in federal transfers yearly? $14 billion?
Mm,
And so if they're getting $14 billion and they still get to say that we're an independent nation inside of a unified Canada, they're getting their cake and they're eating it too, right?
yeah.
Alberta wants the same respect as Quebec, and they're not getting it. And the funny thing is, when you look at any of the headlines that come out of the left-wing corporate media based in Toronto Star, Globe and Mail, any of them, it's always about how bad Alberta is. It's always about how selfish they are, and maybe they should leave, and should we care? Should the rest of Canada care? I'll tell you what: if Alberta left Canada, Canada would cease to be a country.
Yeah, they're the sort of economic sort of what are they, little gem of Canada. I mean,
Well,
they've got
you
they
heard Danielle Smith in that clip just say that by far energy is the biggest industry in this country. Without energy, without oil and gas, Canada would pretty much cease to exist, or it would have to reduce spending, and it would have to reduce programs. It would have to reduce
Mhm.
everything. And
Yeah.
then our standard of living goes way, 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 way down, right? So of course, they're going to try and keep Alberta in, but what are they willing? How far are they willing to go? Is my question. Are they going to let Alberta have these pipelines, or are they going to go against their ideological beliefs? Mark Carney is a net zero zealot, Anita.
I
And,
know. I
you
always
know,
call him that. Yeah,
that's what
he
it
is.
is.
But you cannot have net zero anything. Just like you cannot be a non-binary. You can't be a nothing. You have to have something. So it's utterly ridiculous. They've already made their money on their ideology. They have no problem flying the king in, which I don't have a huge problem with, but they have no problem having a motorcade that has a carbon emission that I would never even use in 5 years. But that's okay for them. It's just not okay for you. I don't want an electric car. I want the choice. So what I think is going to happen here is this is going to be, I was interviewing somebody who said this is going to be like the new trucker convoy. The Alberta separation movement is going to be another almost revolution that the world is going to be watching. If Alberta separates, I wish part of BC would go too, because these policies aren't working. And I love Canada. I'm Canadian. I'm like as Canadian as the day is long, although I'm Indian, but you know what I mean? Like I was born here. I'm a coconut, right? Brown on the outside.
Brown on the inside, white on the inside.
I identify as white. No, I'm joking. I'm Indian, but I love this country. I don't like what I've seen since 2020. And maybe it was happening well before, but
I'll tell you this. I just drove across all of Western Canada. So I come from Winnipeg, drove across Manitoba, beautiful prairie sunsets. Saskatchewan, same thing. You can see your dog running away for a week because it's so flat. And then you get to Alberta and the foothills begin, and huge, majestic skyline of Calgary, and some of the amazing people that I got to meet along the way. And then I got to the mountains, and I got into BC, and I just went, wow, man, like all of this beauty is contained in the country that I call home, that I grew up in. And it's been too long since I've had a chance to go see it. And of course, I don't want our country to split apart. But I mean, every time we have a federal election, you look at that map and you see blue, blue, blue all over the West. And to me, that doesn't mean conservative anymore. That means common sense. Let's return to our common sense values in Canada, the Canada that we grew up in, the Canada that we remember, the Canada that we want back. But if the Liberals refuse to do that, then what choice do we have but to leave what was once a great country? And as you say, the last 5 years, I would say ever since Trudeau was elected, we've got a problem. We've had a problem. Got progressively worse. But, if the Liberals just do not want to go back to those traditional Canadian values, we can find them possibly in Alberta sovereignty. And if you think about what would happen next, Saskatchewan would probably go. And as you said, I think we've talked about this before. Provinces do have the say in this kind of thing, constitutionally speaking, even though there's a lot of unexplored areas of that, let's be honest. But I'm wondering if municipalities would have the ability to say, we don't want to be a part of British Columbia anymore, if they want to keep holding up to these ridiculous rules. And maybe some of these Eastern RMs in BC could join Alberta, and some of the Western RMs in Manitoba could join Saskatchewan. Think about Quebec separating, and what does that leave? At the end of the day, you've got Ontario and the Maritimes.
Yeah. You can have, well, that's the kind, okay, off you go if you want that, like Ontario, the Merit, I don't know. Maybe we do have to.
I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Of course, we don't want that to happen. And none of this separation talk is because we don't like our country. The separation talk is because we love our country. And sometimes you have to break up. Sometimes a relationship isn't working and you need to break up, right? Like these things happen.
We need to return to common sense.
Common sense. Yeah.
And, all the nonsense that's been going on in in this country for the past 10 years with the LGBTQ stuff. And now here we are in June, right? So guess what we're going to be
Yeah,
seeing?
it's Pride Month. Yeah, I went
Yeah.
to my bank. I won't keep you much longer, but I went to my bank today, and they had the flags all over, the rainbow flags with the map part in it. That other part, I don't know
So
what that part is.
part in the middle, that's MAP. That's a new addition to the pride flag. And MAP, in case anybody doesn't know, is minor attracted.
Minor. I
They are
know, but I don't even want to
accepted.
believe that that's what that is. Like that it's like pink and brown or whatever and blue.
Yeah.
That new addition. I saw that all over the bank when I was in the bank today, and I always recognize that as minor attracted person, but I want to think that I'm wrong, because how can you have something so ludicrous on a map in the bank? And it was all over the place in the bank. And I said it out loud. I go, how come we don't have any Canadian flags? We have all these flags all over the place. And a certain type of girl turned around and looked at me, like one of those linebacker type of girls. And I'm like, put the Canadian flags up here. Why do I have to celebrate you being queer? I don't care what you do in your bed. I stop at the L and the G, lesbian and gay. I don't go for all the rest of the BTQIA plus. I don't know what you are. Why do I have to celebrate you? Nobody's celebrating me. I don't have a month. So get lost. You don't need a month, right? I stop at the L and the G. You want to be L or G? Fine. All the rest of the stuff, you alphabet people, you don't need a whole month for me to be rah-rahing for you. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. Shadoe, thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna end it here and let you get back and enjoy your beautiful evening. And thank you all for watching, everyone. It's been a pleasure on this surprise live on a Monday. Thank you, Shadoe. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.